Ereika Show. I'm your host, Erica from Crypto Soul. And for interview number 22, we have invited a special guest, Sébastien, who is the COO of the Sandbox. I've been a big fan of Sandbox, and I'm very excited to hear what the updates are and what they've been building. So Sébastien, welcome. Hi.
Hello. Hi, Erica. How are you?
Good. I love your background. It feels like I'm in the Metaverse, and it feels like I feel like I should have a background too. I needed a background like you do. Yeah.
Exactly. We welcome people to the Metaverse. That's why I'm here. That's why we are going to talk about today NFTs, Metaverse, and gaming, and that's what you see behind. You will soon be able to play as well. So it's exciting.
This is the topic that we have been diving into in 2020 during COVID. We've been in the Metaverse and interested about all this related topics. So yeah, before we dive in, right, for people who may not know who you are, could you please give a short introduction of who you are and what you're working on right now?
Sure. So brief introduction, myself, I'm 36. I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Sandbox, which is a gaming virtual world on the Ethereum blockchain where creators can make 3D assets and game experience and monetize them through the use of non-fungible tokens, NFTs, as well as Sand, our main utility token. I'm also the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance, which is a non-profit organization that counts over 170 members from all the sides of the industry, a game company, investor, media, development solution, blockchain, etc., all together pushing for more adoption of this fantastic technology in the gaming industry, non-fungible tokens, DAO, DeFi, decentralized gaming, and more.
Wow. Thanks so much. What a role. I think I saw the post on that one, and congratulations, such an important role to kind of like push the industry forward.
Thank you. It's all thanks to the energy of all our members that we're able to showcase great content, great stuff, everything that's happening right now. It's, I would say, the result of several years of effort that all comes to friction, to attrition, and some of the games that are out on the market right now, we can see, we can enjoy collecting, playing with. It's really exciting what's happening at the beginning of this year, and where everyone in the industry is no longer doubting any second that 2021 is the year of the NFTs.
Absolutely. You've been building for some time in this space, but before that, what was your background before diving into the crypto space, and what made you fall into this crypto rabbit hole?
So I've been always, this is my fourth company indeed. The three previous one have been acquired. I've been working with my co-founder and CEO, Arthur Madrid. And we always worked in startup involved into new technology. The first one was involved into one of the first application of decentralized technology, which is peer-to-peer, offering a plugin using BitTorrent to facilitate the download of video on demand from TV channel, Ketchup TV, etc. We sold that company 2 years later to a CDN network. The second startup we did was about storing your photo, video, and music in the cloud, so you can share them with your friends. Before it was called the cloud, before Netflix, before Spotify, and we had dozens of thousands of members uploading content. So that's where we started to experiment with user-generated content and sharing those files. Then in 2011, we founded the mobile game studio that focused into free-to-play games involving IPs and brands. Once again, we were one of the pioneers in the space, both in free-to-play and working with IPs and brands. And with this idea that we wanted to turn any player into a creator. And that's how the Sandbox franchise was born in 2012. Fast forward, 9 years later now, that's a game that on mobile has grossed 40 million downloads, 1 million active users, 70 million creation made by the community of users. But with this key challenge, something that has always been bothering us, that there was no way for us to reward all the creators for the fantastic content they made and all the contribution they contributed to the success. Like without the content, the game would be empty and boring. Mm-hmm. So when at the end of 2017, we see CryptoKitties, CryptoPunks appear, offer NFTs with content like such as virtual cats, we have been already diving into blockchain, Bitcoin, how does that work for about a year. And then I saw the potential of applying that very technology, NFT, instead of just virtual cats, making it available to anyone again, turning anyone into its own NFT creator. And that's how came to birth the idea of making a new version of Sandbox, this time 3D, multiplayer, multi-platform, and using the blockchain to enable anyone to make their NFTs, play with them with our game maker, and monetize their content, their time, their creations.
Wow. What a journey for you, and in being a serial entrepreneur. Sandbox, I remember like when I was in the Hash meetup a long time ago, I first saw a teaser video for Sandbox, and I remember like being shocked at the quality of your images and everything. It was just amazing. Could you give us, you just gave an intro, but could you give a specific intro of what Sandbox is, what it enables, what are the, main features, and so forth? Yeah.
Yeah, but as I mentioned, Sandbox is essentially a gaming virtual world that offers several tools for creators to make content. So among those tools on the platform, we do have a 3D editor that allows anyone to make their NFTs called Vox Edit. You can make simple 3D objects in voxels, sort of like 3D pixel, and animate them. Then you can publish those creations to the marketplace and soon sell them. This marketplace has also been used to sell part of our virtual world, which is a map of 166, 464 lands. Each one of them is unique as an NFT. We sold about 40% of it with great success. I'll get to the numbers after. And the last component is the game maker for creators, which is a no-code software you just install and you can create games, drag and drop. All the assets you made with the 3D editor comes with their own behavior. So you put a bird and the bird can fly. You put an enemy and it will attack your hero, etc. The only missing part that we haven't yet launched to the public in beta yet is the game client that will allow players to enter that virtual world, start exploring the land, and play the games built with the game maker. That part is coming towards Q2 this year. But we already started private alpha, so we have already hundreds of users participating and working with us on improving this experience. Mm-hmm. Some of the graphics you're seeing behind me are actual screenshots from the game. All the videos you can see about Sandbox on social media and being part of our community of more than 200,000 members on Discord, Twitter, or Telegram. All of the footage you can see is from either taken by other players or ourselves from real game. Mm-hmm. So 3 years after, and you say the graphic quality, it's all coming to life very soon for the public. And so, that virtual world is one map of 166, 464 parcels that will never ever be anymore. So there is this notion of scarcity of the land, and the land will be used by creators to publish their game experience that players can then access. And then, as such, is the main way to access monetization on the platform. The last part that makes Sandbox as well an open metaverse, decentralized, is the fact that we have also our own utility token called Sand that we introduced only last year following an IEO on Binance Launchpad, because we wanted to launch it only once we have demonstrated that we had a good community, that the product is there, the tools can be used by the user, etc. So that we didn't launch the token before building. We built first and then we launched the token. And right now, Sand token allows you as a medium of exchange to buy lands during our public land sales, to buy assets, to trade the asset and the NFT among users. Soon it will allow also to participate in the governance of the platform. And by staking Sand, you can already receive rewards, such as earning NFTs, exclusive NFTs, or Sand as well in our liquidity mining rewards program. So it's also a way to participate in DeFi if you're not a player or not a creator, which is one of the exciting possibilities as well in virtual worlds. A very strong focus of Sandbox is our focus on gaming. That's the background of our team, basically. We've been in the gaming industry since 2011, as I mentioned before. Mm-hmm. Sandbox team has grown to 100 people now, and everything we are doing is accelerating the growth, building the game experience ourselves, building the tool to enable, and supporting the whole ecosystem with our foundation and funds to where we support 100 creators to make assets, 20 game projects from global teams and studios who are working on their own game experience to be published in the Sandbox Metaverse. So all of this is very exciting and offer and position Sandbox really in a different, with a different value proposition than other open metaverses like Decentraland, Crypto Voxel, Somnium Space, which might be more focused on social events or art galleries, etc. Which doesn't mean we will not do it, but we want to offer something specific and unique to Sandbox. We think we are on a good way through that. Also, the fact we have major partnership with IPs and brands. So right now we have more than 60 partners, and some of them include major IPs such as the Smurfs, the Care Bears, Atari, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Shaun the Sheep, and we'll announce soon more IPs from celebrities, music artists, DJ, and Hollywood TV, Hollywood series, which sounds quite exciting. So it's taking a bit more time due to the speed at which those industries are now catching up about NFT, but I'm glad and really looking forward for these to be announced in the upcoming weeks.
That's a lot to digest. There's so much going on. And like the fact that the main forte of your product, which is gaming, is not even released yet, that's like more exciting. It's like more to come basically. And like even not, I don't think even half has been released like publicly yet. And I think, yeah, super exciting. You basically like answered all my questions, and I think
all right.
No, but we'll go into one by one, I think. And I mean, when I saw the background and the images and all, it kind of reminded me of Minecraft, but the like the visuals a little bit. But like I think the main difference would be like that it's creating a virtual economy and on the platform. Yeah, that's a major one. I'm sure there's others, but how, I mean, apart, and you're well, I mean, you know very well about the traditional gaming side. How would it like differ in terms of that? Can you elaborate more on like the virtual economy? Like how does all these like factors of the virtual economy come into play when the user or when the gamer or comes into the platform? What features would they see differently aside from the traditional games?
So, well, the broad question, but a simple answer. Basically, we empower creators and players through the use of NFTs and by building the basic layer that enables a virtual economy with digital assets, digital services to exist. Mm-hmm. Essentially, we can finally have a value system where the time you invest to play, the time that's related to create something, and either an asset or a game, can be transcribed and then easily exchanged through the trade of those NFTs that are game assets tokenized on the blockchain. That's the main difference. And also the fact that NFTs are not limited, stuck in a centralized silo, such as we mentioned Minecraft, we mentioned Roblox, or even Fortnite. In those games, anything you create actually doesn't belong to you. That belongs to the platform. You cannot take it outside of that platform. You cannot exchange it to another user, give it to another user. And if you decide to stop playing, everything you've acquired, whether the currencies or the asset, are actually lost. So in a way, but all the investment that you put has literally no value. Also, anything you acquire in those games, you don't really have the trust needed to make sure that when an element is scarce, it's actually scarce, or the developer is not going to change the supply of a very legendary sword or some game item that you spend a lot of time to try to acquire, or even spend a lot of money in a free-to-play in-app purchase. Whereas with the blockchain is easy, it's very transparent. Like you can see the supply and the scarcity of the assets. Some can be just one in the world, and that's why some of those very unique digital assets have been valued, as we can see in some recent sale, quite high. Like some Formula One car, for example, has been sold for more than $100,000. In Sandbox, some of the largest parcels, 24 by 24, which are the rarest, have been sold last week in auction for more than $300,000 or 1.2 million of sand, and because there is at the moment a growing demand while the supply remains scarce and limited, it makes sense for the value of those items to be appreciating. Whereas in free-to-play games and centralized games like Minecraft, Roblox, there's always supply for as long as people are ready to pay for it, which then doesn't decrease the value behind in a way.
Right, absolutely.
So that's one of the true game changers. And well, diving any further, now that you can have items that are scarce, that can be exchanged and paid, you can really build an economy where you can pay people to build your world, you can pay people to design your unique avatar, outfits, wearables, your identity, and really build a whole economy that replicates the physical world economy with services and goods.
Actually, just hearing what you just said, like my friend who's like a mania in Animal Crossing, right? She was building like all these bridges and farming, and she was earning these coins, right? And I was like thinking to myself, like, you can actually like make those coins like your actual like money when you use like a blockchain game. But like, yeah, I think if she gets that idea, I think she'll be like super excited. I think she was like secretly hoping that that could be turned into actual economy, that she's putting so much effort into it.
That's the thing, like it actually happened in Animal Crossing by Nintendo, where users start setting up shop in Animal Crossing and trying to sell content, virtual items. And because Nintendo is forbidding it into its term of use and not ready to embrace something that the users organically want, so that they are protecting their business model, their walled garden, because they don't take a commission on those type of transaction. Users had to they have to create like secret Discord channel where you have to match the offer and demand. But how can you trust in this case, like the buyer, the seller, some users get stolen, etc. So it's why it's called the gray and black market for video game items. And it's been existing in the video game industry for ages. In Korea, some MMOs were sold for $10,000 or more. In World of Warcraft, you had even like what called like farmers of resource and players' accounts. Rather than fighting it, I think we should embrace it because users want to do it, and it's just in the post-COVID, if it's finished, but they say post-COVID era, like we are working more and more into digital spaces, whether we are having this live interview on Zoom or I'm going to play in a game, my time can be valued there. And I think it just makes sense and it's the next logical way. And there's no way to go back after to like not owning your asset, not owning your content, not owning your currency, and not owning your data or identity.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think people are definitely opening up. I mean, like their eyes are opening. Like I think for me as well, like I didn't even think of this concept, but now it's like really coming to me. Like this is like really super important, and people should really own their data and like their efforts and their content and whatnot. It's a very natural flow to the next question, but you just mentioned about the public land sales that you just had recently, and it's been I just saw the tweet threads, and it was just amazing, like what you guys did, and the amount of the NFTs sold were just it's just amazing. And the space definitely seems to be blowing up. Why do you think like the virtual real estate is receiving such positive feedback? Why would people want to own such property all by its virtual land?
So that's a great question, and we've seen that growth recently. I think among four main: the art, the music, the sports, the gaming, and the virtual world with the real estate. People can easily understand. You don't need to play games. You don't need to actually be into crypto to understand that land has value in the world when it is limited, and when you can build and turn that land into a business and that drive people into and generate value. So in the virtual world, it's essentially the same. The location of the land you choose and your capacity to build a game experience or other social hub or anything that will drive users and create the desire for them to come back and potentially engage with services or buying NFTs in it is an easy way to monetize. And if you're not a creator, you can either hire a creator for you or you can rent that land to creators. So there's a lot of similarities with just buying physical property and real estate in the physical world. I would say we have around the world, Korea has been one of the top markets for Sandbox, and there is different sensitivities on how people are putting savings on their own money. So typically in Europe, it's very traditional. People will tell you, you need to buy apartments to save your money. Whereas in Asia, most of the time, you need to invest into stocks and trade shares or do crypto. And Europe, not such a great percentage of the population does that. And virtual land, it's kind of interesting because it combines both of the aspects. Like, I'm still feeling I'm investing into a piece that will grow in value, even slowly, because of its appreciation and utility. And at the same time, I also can leverage the possibilities behind, because there are NFTs, so they can be traded, they can be used now as collateral for receiving loans, for example, and they can be rented to other creators. So there's many utility behind lands.
Interesting. I think like
one of our other strong success has been also like the way we've really made that it's your land. And how do you feel it's your land? One of the best way to feel it's your land is that you can already, even before you're building your land, you can already put your logo there. And so you feel like, hey, I'm here. This is my image. Yes, like my flag is in a nation. And I'm next to this other logo. So basically, the larger parcel are sort of like monuments or attraction points when you look at the map. And I love the look and feel of this map. Like every day it changes. You can see some people trade its location. New members are moving in. We have, today that I was thinking, we have more than 5,300 unique landowners, which make us, even if you can think it's a small number as of now, it's one of the largest virtual world in terms of land ownership, if you compare to other decentralized virtual world, which means that we've been really doing a pretty good job at offering opportunities to a maximum of people versus making a world that's very limited in terms of like how many whales or how many users control it, and give access to in a decentralized manner and community manner, give access to by having a stake in the success of the virtual world and participating in the success of it as well. So if you missed owning land in other virtual world because you were not early on, there's really no way for you anymore. Whereas in Sandbox, we just sold 45% of the total supply of our land. So there will still be public sales wave through the next 2 years. Each one of them coming with strong partners, opportunities, like we did with CoinMarketCap, like we did with some crypto influencers like Metacovan or Pranksy, like we did with Binance, with Atari, etc. So bringing a lot of brands and around them offering opportunities for newcomers, new setters to the metaverse and virtual world has also been contributing to the success of our sales.
Yeah, definitely. I did see the map where all these like the flags or the logos were all printed there, and I kind of felt like I was making my avatar on the platform. I was like, I want my logo there. I did feel that urge and the desire. So I really understand like what these users are feeling internally and the user experience basically. And you said you only sold 40% of the land, so the rest will be like going on for the span of 2 years. Did you say 2 years? So
that's what we're trying. Yes, every week, every 2 weeks. Sometimes we'll alternate. Some will be just one by one lands at the regular price that we announce. So we are not inflating our price, or some will be auctions depending on the size. We are creating new opportunities as well, so that everyone can choose where and how they can be participating in the metaverse.
Do you have a schedule for the another upcoming sale or not yet?
So we announced a partnership recently with CoinCheck, which is an exchange in Japan.
Yeah.
And CoinCheck has acquired a portion of the map. At the bottom right, you can see their logo and some lands around. Yeah. So that one will be particular because in this case, CoinCheck as a partner will be the one distributing and selling the lands to their community in Japan as they are opening the first Japanese NFT marketplace. So that's a strong partnership to keep pushing Sandbox to new frontiers, specifically in Japan.
Interesting. I'll cover that a little later. I'm going to talk. I was just going to mention that, but a little later. And as you mentioned before, one of the biggest milestones for Sandbox is that it will release the game alpha version, which is like the main, I guess, feature of your platform. Could you tell us more about the upcoming schedule? Like, or is it still uncertain? Or you said the second quarter for the game release, or do you have a schedule for that? Or
so back in December, we announced something called Pre-Season 0, which essentially is going to be the first play-to-earn event in Sandbox, opening to, I would say, a small number. So we are going to start things small, and then we'll increase progressively. Access to a small number of users to participate in playing for 15 days an event that contains several experiences made by creators, made by games supported by our foundation and ourselves. And at the end of those 15 days, depending on your progression, you'll be able to claim certain tokens and NFT rewards, which in a way you allows to convert the time you spend playing. So it's maybe playing 30 minutes a day to progress into valuable reward. Then you can collect and say it's sort of trophy to say, hey, I was there, I own that, or potentially trade with other users on the secondary marketplace and then turn your time into a revenue stream.
Yeah,
and that pre-season will be, but we are aiming to launch it at the beginning of Q2. We'll hopefully make the announcement soon.
Wow, I saw the Medium article, and I think when the Medium has your Medium blog is very specific, articles, and I was very captivated by the length and also the details. So yeah, you guys should check out the Medium blog for more announcements to come. This is a very general question, but for me, I'm just getting into the NFT space and just figuring out what the beauty is, what makes it very special. In your own words, in your personal opinion, you've been through a lot of that, and what do you think is the beauty of NFTs, and why do we need them in maybe 2021 and onwards?
Well, I've been a true pioneer in the space for over 3 years, so I've essentially been evangelizing about the fact that you need to own your own creation, and that's the gateway to accessing monetization and other benefits from it. I think the beauty of NFTs is how they are building communities around them. Essentially, all the owners of the same NFTs are intrinsically part of a community of owners. And it creates a bond between the artist or the game or the platform who generated an NFT and the different owners. There's no better direct way for the users to engage. And the NFT is a way to support the creators, is a way to actually create new bonds. And sometimes you feel like, yes, the artists are defining the market. No, the artists are creating for the users, and the users are part of that loop. They are actively engaged. By acquiring some valuable NFTs of a platform or virtual world like Sandbox, as it's being built, you own the content. You get a voice to say essentially what will happen to this. If you decide to sell those NFTs and decrease their value, then essentially you're leaving the platform. You've lost trust into the platform or the creator that makes it. So in a way, it's also a very strong way to communicate about your feeling to a project, or to voice concern about the project in a way it's never been before. Like before, when a platform was doing something against the players, they have literally no way to fight against it. Maybe they will strike against, I don't want to play that game, I will stop spending into the game. Here you have the aspect for it for the NFT, but also through the governance token that I think is also a major piece of participating in the decentralization, where within the next 5 years, Sandbox will have no more Sand token of its own. It will be 100% in the hands of the community, which means the community voice will essentially drive the future of the platform in a fully decentralized manner.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome. And another keyword of 2021, and also I think a very hyped word in Korea as well was the metaverse, right? You mentioned it several times, but I think a lot of people are just still curious about the actual meaning of metaverse. It's another vague question, but could you kind of define metaverse for us, and how this the sandbox fit into, what elements does it fit into, and just curious about the actual definition. We just hear about it so many times, but it's just I just want to in your own words, please.
It makes sense. Yeah. In my own words, the simple vision is we are a layer of the metaverse. We are not the metaverse itself. There's many metaverses or layers of the metaverses. Each decentralized virtual world has content, as players, as for example, as worlds, as avatars. And as you take those digital assets, those content as NFTs, and you can transport them from one virtual world to another, carry them and have an experience that goes across all those different platforms with the same content. That's, I think, really the vision behind participating and being into a metaverse. So with my avatar from Sandbox, if it's accepted into another virtual world and I can use it, doesn't need to be an avatar as well. It can be another representation. But the fact that I carry my own content into other application and a virtual world and I use it, that's the experience that the metaverse is essentially should be. And from the science fiction book, from Snow Crash to the Ready Player One movie, besides involving the IPs, all the hypes, that's, I think, the general idea behind people should remember.
Does the aspect of social interaction among users, is that also a big element in the platform?
It's essential. You have your digital identity that you can carry across all those different layers of the metaverse. You have your digital assets, your belongings, the NFTs that will participate in defining your identity online. So rather who you are, in a sense of who are your parents, where are you born, what's the DNA you've been inheriting in the virtual world. Who you are is essentially just what you've bought, where you've been into those virtual worlds. So all the digital little trace that you're living as you're using, you're buying content, etc., they define your identity. And you can have that existence in the digital world while you still have this existence into the physical world. The both can happen. That's also what can be the metaverse. Some of this existence can actually continue while you're not even into the virtual world. That's how far it can go.
Oh, wow. I mean, in the sandbox, I believe that currently text chatting is possible, right, among the users.
Yes,
but
that's the.
Yeah, do you plan to add more social functions, like maybe a video element or anything else that can kind of upgrade the social element?
So as you rightly said, multiplayer and socializing is key. It cannot be a metaverse if there's no players and you're alone. Metaverse is a social experience, not a single player experience.
Right.
It starts by being able to join hubs and see the other avatars, and each avatar can be customized. It starts with being able to chat. So text is a simple form of expression. Voice and video can be more interesting, comes with pros and cons, but more engaging for sure. And after, there are other activities that we can do together in multiplayer. We can build together, we can play together, we can be transporting and experience things together. We can have a simple way, and that's coming soon in Sandbox, is expressing ourselves. Like, how do you express yourself in a metaverse? Through animation. So it's called emotes. So the animation you trigger on your avatar, reaction, displaying your feeling, displaying your reaction, the possibility to indeed stream videos, stream music as well. So those are, I would say, the premise of building like a virtual concert, new live experience that involve being all together at one place into an instance of a server and seeing the same things, such as like, well, the Travis Scott show in Fortnite, or other performance now into decentralized virtual world where DJs for launch parties, etc.
Wow, so many elements, so many possibilities, basically, that are, wow, I can't even like just draw it into one picture. It's just so much that can really happen in the upcoming years. There are so many diverse NFT projects right now, and as you mentioned, like similar, well, the ones in similar category, like the Decentraland and so forth. How do you plan to maintain the competitiveness of the sandbox amongst this like diverse competition in the upcoming years?
Well, as you can see, you already saw Sandbox like 3 years ago. Right now, when you see Sandbox, now you can see all the improvement in terms of graphic, in terms of performance, fact that we're natively multiplayer and you can socialize with other users. The technology that allows creating those game experience keeps evolving really fast, and I'm not concerned that the immersion that it will allow will become greater. But we didn't choose on purpose to be photorealistic. So we are not a VR world. We don't try to have the highest end graphic. We have chosen to use voxel because voxel never age. Basically, at the current resolution on screen, it should look as good now as it looks good in 10 years without us having to always run to, it's never-ending pursuit of better graphics and photorealism. So in a way, the aesthetic of our virtual world are acquired, and then because they are acquired, you don't focus only on the aesthetic. You can focus on other parts of the experience. What are the gameplay mechanics? What are the narrative? What are the stories behind that you're experiencing? Is it just coming and chatting with people all the time, or are there for you more things to do, like participating in quests, completing some goals, ranking in leaderboards with tournaments and competition, etc.?
Oh, yes, I totally agree. And also, one of the main fortes of the Sandbox is that it owns a huge network of partners, and it's been, I think, emphasized since day one, and including Hash in Korea as well. And can you explain how these players actually play a part in expanding the Sandbox ecosystem? You mentioned CoinCheck as well, but yeah, we'll mention that a little later with the exchanges. But in general, like how have these partners worked with the Sandbox until now?
Every partnership that we've made with Sandbox, we always looked at it through, it's not just announcing a partnership, what's concretely at stake behind, what can we offer for the user, and what's the benefit for the user. For some of the partnership, it's about like facilitating the onboarding with not needing MetaMask and using another simple way to log in and create a wallet, such as when we use Bitsky, just an email address, when we use Arcane, just your Google, Facebook, or Twitter account is needed. Some partnership is about like bringing content and IPs. A lot of IPs came and we're offering social hubs, NFTs, lands related to them, and soon game experience. Some other partners are here also to show and use Sandbox virtual world for facilitating the communication and onboarding of their community. Like they were looking for a virtual world place where they can do more than just have a static page on Twitter, and where they can express themselves, when they can run content, activities, contests. So that's why it makes sense as well, and for us to have built those partnerships. And it's been one of the contributing factor as well for the success of the land sales, because every partner, they acquire land in our virtual world, and their community wants, or the community in general, they like to stay close to the brands they like, to the product they like, to form neighborhood, to form communities as well in the virtual world near them. So it makes sense also to see all of those partners scattered around the map. And we've done something interesting here is when you look at the Sandbox map, there's not a single point of interest where you say, hey, it's the center and only get land at the center. The center is it's all about it. No, in Sandbox, there's so much diversity, and you can find Binance on the 4 extreme corners. You can find CoinCheck on the bottom right. You can find a big influencer on the left side. And the whole value points and attraction points are really well scattered around. So that, I think, bring a consistent value to our metaverse, to our virtual world.
Yeah, I saw the distribution and I was like, wow, this is like, they chose like different spots in all different corners. So I did realize that as well. And you will participate to exploring, basically. You spend time to explore, look already. You're not there yet in the 3D world. You're still on the web, on the browser, on the dashboard, but you still take time to look, explore around. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to see. And I mean, to be honest, like I'm not an avid gamer, but you know, for me, even like my eyes were just like, you know, opening up. I was like, wow, what is this? And I really wanted to just like try it out and just to see how far I can get, basically. So that was a pretty exciting experience. And you mentioned about CoinCheck and Binance, and there were a number of partnerships regarding exchanges. And I was very curious about the underlying intent, I guess, like motivation on behalf of those exchanges. Like, what synergy effect can you expect from this specific partnership with exchanges?
Yeah. Sorry, losing my. They're very simple, basically. Like, exchange are the main way for many of users to experience blockchain for the first time through cryptocurrency. So they have large audience, but those exchanges, they also need to diversify and offer more value-added services for their users, and offering a point of presence in our virtual world, owning land, promoting NFTs, creating exclusive NFTs and activities for their audience to collect, to win those NFTs, is just a very natural way for all their users to stay sticky to the exchange, to engage with it, to create stronger bonds. Additionally, it's not just about owning a piece of metaverse and not doing it on it. Like, then they having this point of presence and saying, look, we have this large land. What are we going to do as a community? Naturally, once we open and you can see as a player more and more of the things that have been creating around in Sandbox, they will be using, engaging the community to build together, to create something that the community will be proud of seeing and playing, as well as the other people who come in to those worlds and explore it. So that's one of the reasons they have presence. Some are also, as I mentioned with CoinCheck earlier, some of the users, when they open the NFT marketplace and they're going to sell lands around them, they're essentially like distributing their neighborhood to their users. So their users can also build content around them, so that there will be experiences, there will be fun to participate into those places. And you know, Japan is one of the nation where there's the highest number of gamers, of course, and people building content and playing Minecraft or other titles.
Very
Same
creative.
In Korea, etc. So that's, I'm not concerned about like what can be done when I see on daily basis the community posting on social media everything they're already creating with our beta tools.
Very interesting. I think it's a very innovative approach by the exchanges as well. So it's a very interesting collaboration that I thought super innovative. As a final question, and you're losing your voice too, but just bear with me here. What would be, your end, final, well, not final, but like your long-term vision in the Sandbox, and and ending with that, can you also share like a short message to the Korean community, who's a big fan of your work, and and we'll conclude with a message. Yeah.
we love the Korea community. We've even held like a Korea voxel mascot. So the winner created a specific character that we are using in all our Korean marketing to become the new mascot for Sandbox there. It's quite exciting to see how they're engaging and how the community, we have strong partnership there where there's SBS Game Academy that's going to teach how to create game using Sandbox, how to make NFTs using Sandbox, etc. So just a few exciting things happening there. The long-term vision is that we are able to grow Sandbox into, I would say, a really viable option and a competitor to Minecraft and Roblox, where millions of users have the choice to decide where they want to spend their time into those old centralized platforms, or they want to spend their time in games made by other users that allow them to monetize that time, to turn that time into something of value for them. And I think like pushing forward, play to earn will be the way to go. It will not necessarily kill or make free-to-play disappear, like free-to-play didn't kill premium and so on. But the rise of play to earn, the rise of the NFTs is something that I see over the next 5 to 10 years as being almost a standard in our industry. And I'm sure that we will see all the traditional big names part of virtual worlds. I don't know if it will be Sandbox or others, hopefully us, but let's see. And really feel no other ways than being decentralized anymore. So like NFT are making this profound shift already, and millions of users are discovering it today. So that's the exciting thing.
Yeah, I really hope that the Sandbox will help in making a new standard in the upcoming years in terms of how we view the gaming space, and and I think it's very exciting. I mean, if I want to teach my child about introduce my child to certain games, I would definitely want him or her to learn about these interactive and a play to earn type of economy. It's very eye-opening, and I really I learned a lot while diving into the Sandbox, and thank you so much for sharing your time and energy and talking to me, and I really hope that we can meet in Korea in the near future. And
yes. Yeah, sure.
And please, if there's any more updates on exciting updates in the upcoming months, please to come back again to the show and share your updates too. Thank you so much.
Will do. We'll be happy to continue sharing major updates about Sandbox on the show, and let your community, fans, listener, and watcher to learn what's happening in one of the hottest space of the Metaverse.
Thank you,
Erika.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
You too.
안녕하세요. Bye-bye.
안녕히 가세요. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.